Suara Inspirasi,
where every voice tells a story.
and every story will inspire you. So thank you, Penny and Giden, for joining us on our 5th episode. It's lovely to have both of you since, we've all one time or another used BloomThis to save our relationships.
Happy morning, happy morning. I'm a strong believer of them.
Yes.
As well.
Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate the support. Thank you for having us.
And you brought the nice weather with you guys.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Today weather is quite perfect.
Perfect for this.
And thank you, Audi, for sponsoring this podcast. Again, we're having the Audi e-tron GT today.
Wonderful electric car, not polluting the planet. Apparently, Penny, just before we started the filming, said it's so comfortable she wanted to sleep in the back.
I hope you don't. All right, let's get moving.
Let's get rolling. Okay, so let's start with how you both started BloomThis. Now, for the audiences out there, I don't know whether you know, Penny and Giden are husband and wife. So, the question of how and where you meet is very interesting because did you guys meet and then started BloomThis or you got married after BloomThis started? Let's go.
Yeah, so we met in one of a pharmaceutical company that we work with. Yeah, so when we met each other that time, we were just colleagues. We were not even girlfriend boyfriend yet. Yeah, but we already started BloomThis then. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you started BloomThis while you were still working in the biochemical company.
For me, so I have a day job, right? So during the day, I do pharmaceutical sales and marketing, right? And at night, I will do what I need to do to build the business. Yeah. So Gideon went on full time first, and that time, I was so gung ho. I also wanted to quit my job and start full time, but yeah, he sort of like put some sense in my head and said that no, you I will go for full time first, while you hang on to the day job. Once we're more stabilized, then we can have a different arrangement.
What year was this?
I think that was 2014.
So before you were funded, because I know we'll get to that story. So So Giden, you left your job, gave up your pay to do this completely bootstrap your saving.
So, it's BloomThis is actually our third try. So this is
Our third try, you and Penny.
well, I tried once and then it failed. Basically,
With Penny.
the first one wasn't.
Okay.
So the first one is basically I was really trying to digitize the whole flower gifting experience. And the reason why I'm in this business is because my mother, she was a florist and she started a flower business when I was 10 years old. And growing up, I see a lot of inefficiency, very little innovation in the industry. Operationally, also is very inefficient. And when I'm a bit older, I wanted to inject some newness into the space and wanted to digitize the way how people buy and send gifts. And so that's the whole idea on building an e-commerce around the flower business. So the first try was about that, was just trying to put up a website and try to let people buy flowers online and gifts online, mainly flowers at the time. But that didn't turn out. And the second time is when I actually already met Penny, as what Penny said. Because the first time didn't work out and I had to jump back into getting a day job to make ends meet. And,
That's where we met each other.
That's when we met each other in the...
I mean, basically, first time was a tech geek. I mean, it's more of a tech thing, right? Trying to get things on a tech.
Yeah.
And you were doing that full time as well? That first time?
The first time wasn't full time. Wait, sorry. The first time, yes. I actually jumped out of pharmaceutical. So I've been in the pharmaceutical industry for about six years or so. I actually jumped out of that the first time and gave up my day job and went full time into trying to build that e-commerce business for a very traditional flower business, you see.
Okay.
How long and what year was this?
Well, this was I believe it was in 2010.
Wow.
Or so.
Wow.
You were what, 25, 24?
Wow, testing my memory.
Yes,
I
of
remember
course.
how old was I? But let me see. In my 20s, definitely.
Okay,
Maybe in my 20s, mid-20s or so. Well, I think there were a lot of things that I didn't understand at the time. Just jump in. I thought that I just put something online, put some flowers online people would buy. But it's really a lot more than that in the later years when I learned. And so, but that one, I really went full time into doing that. And after a while, I just couldn't sustain myself anymore without any any income. So I had to actually look for do what I can. I do best to make a living, which is go back to pharmaceutical and get a day job. And that's how I met Penny actually. Went into this pharmaceutical company, which I met Penny there as a friend.
Yeah.
And then we kind of decided like I said I have this e-commerce flower
Yeah, so
thing.
he showed me the website that he built for the first time, right? So
Okay.
I was trying to be I tried to be a nice person, I tried to be a good friend. I said that, yeah, I think it's something that could work, I think, right? So then after that, we got together with one another, and Giden brought up the idea again and said that, hey, there's this idea of, revolutionizing, the flower and gifting industry. So they want to do it or not, right? So I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
And that was the second try.
Okay.
Second try.
And we thought that, at least I thought that my first website was ugly. So I thought, okay, I really needed it to be a bit more aesthetically pleasing. And I knew Penny was really good at design and whatnot. So we worked together on the second website. And actually, the results were pretty much similar. So it's not just about the aesthetic or the looks of it, right? It's really a lot more than that. So what happened in 2014 was that we were really appreciative that we had the opportunity to be sent to the Silicon Valley for an immersion program by Magic at the time.
But you were already known as BloomThis at the time.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Even the whole idea was not formalized yet. But how I was sent there was because still in the flower space, we actually sort of like I actually pitched an idea on how to use the flower gifting, use that whole idea of flower gifting as a startup. So I pitched an idea and we were actually sent to that program.
Okay.
In that program is when I realized that, wow, there's a lot more to
Potential.
entrepreneurship. Yes.
Yeah.
And potential of the space is one thing, but a lot more to building a startup and a business than just, putting some beautiful flowers on a website and sell, right?
Okay.
So from there, we inceptualized the whole idea of BloomThis. Then I came back, after coming back from Silicon Valley from the Stanford program, is when I pitched to Penny again and said, hey, why not we do it this way? And let's just redo everything again.
Oh, you went alone for the East Stanford program.
Yes.
I see.
Yes, I went
and
for
what year
alone.
was that again?
That was in 2014.
You were the first cohort.
First cohort. First ever
Wow.
cohort.
Without a company, without anything.
So in that cohort had people that already started. There were established companies there. There
Wow,
was
to get accepted is wow. All right.
Yeah, there were companies that were about to IPO in the
Wow.
next year. One year after that, was some of the companies IPO. They were well established businesses and startups at the time. And I was one of the few that had no clue and completely had nothing, zero, just a pitch deck, and that's all.
And all paid for, right?
At that time, yes, it was really amazing that we had the opportunity. We had a lot of support from the government program as well. But it really, I can see a lot of startups at that time. Today, they are still in existence. They're really making a difference, in the Malaysian ecosystem. We were really thankful that we had the opportunity, and because of that, we inceptualized. Had a framework, had the whole business canvas.
Yeah, come up with a
Wow,
brand name.
wow. I think this is really a story to be known, from where you started and how you started and how this was injected into a proper idea and where you are today. All right, that begs me to my next question to you guys, out of all the things, why Floris, and what's the inspiration behind it? I know a little bit, you told me about your mom had started this business and all that, and what's behind this BloomThis? I'm sure there's a lot of other things that why Floris and stuff like this, right? And I understand you guys are in biochemist and also food science, from all that area, and you ended up here where you are. Maybe I think the viewers would like to listen this interesting combination and where you guys are taking this.
Like I mentioned, I had the opportunity to be introduced to the flower industry at an early young age.
Okay.
Like I said, my mother was a florist, and at that time, really, a family really needed to make ends meet, and so my mother jumped into doing that. And of course, I was just a little kid at the time, and of course, my mom had to take care of me. So I get this opportunity to run around in the flower shop and try to see what's going on in there. Help out a little bit, more of being a nuisance, I would think. But at that time, I think so. Why we do what we do? I think over the years we see that um, there is a lot of potential in this space. There is a need for people to really deliver a heartfelt message, and gifting is a part of that. And flowers and gifts actually plays a big role in that. And I see that there is a need to really elevate that customer experience. So our mission is really about creating moments of happiness. We want to, really, help people to create that moment of happiness through the service and the products that we do. And so the inception was, how can we make that experience better? How can we make that whole gifting experience better? And how can we leverage on technology to do that, right? Because we saw potential that technology could really make a difference in this space. And so that was the whole idea why we embarked on doing this.
So I think when you mentioned earlier, just at the end of the conversation about magic, right? That you had to come back, you learn how to do this business model canvas, learn from the best there, decided to come back, speak to Penny and launch what was the version of BloomThis that became what it is today, right? What were your initial challenges? And before you answer this, was it challenging to convince you, Penny? Because it seems, hey, this guy flip-flop, change idea again.
Okay.
No, actually, it's not that difficult for the convince part lah, right? Because I think I think when we set out to do this, right, we really wanted to make it work. And when the first that would be my first venture lah, right? Giden's the second, right? Didn't work out. No, we were doing a lot of like soul searching lah, right? Are we good enough? Are we doing it right?
And you were still at the company at the time?
Yes, I was still at the company. Yeah, but I was already in love, you see. Yeah. So I think when the idea of like going to the market differently, so that was the first time, right, for me to learn about the term go to market, right? So we're like, okay, so if we want to make this work, first we gotta go to the market differently. We can't be doing the same thing over and over again, right? So we start with I would say back then an interesting model, which is non-existent in the market at that point of time, which is a subscription. Yeah. So we enter the market by giving we call ourselves at that time a luxury flower by subscription. Yeah. So we give out like bi-weekly and weekly flower subscriptions to our customers, and in a surprise form. Yeah. So they don't really know what they are getting, right? And they only know what they order after they receive the gift.
It's a blind box.
Okay.
Yes, it is a blind box at that time.
Interesting, yeah?
Yeah. So it went pretty well, I would say, because it was new to the market and everyone is very curious about this thing. And back then, we actually put the flowers in a brown box, right? In a long brown box, which a lot of people actually mistaken it as a keyboard.
A keyboard?
Yes, it looks like a keyboard case, right? And
It's a carton box.
Yeah, like carrying a keyboard around. I'm like, no, it's flowers inside. Yeah. So yeah, that's how we. Yeah.
Okay, but wait. When you started doing that, were you already funded or still bootstrapping?
No, we were bootstrapping.
Still bootstrapping.
Bootstrapping, all right.
We bootstrapped for about almost 8
That's why I
months.
still need my day job then.
Okay, so come on, let's share it with the entrepreneurial people watching the show today. In terms of bootstrapping, between the both of you, whether you want to make it public, I leave it up to you, yeah?
Yeah.
What was the split between how much and who put the most at the same time? How much was the total sort of kitty litter you put in to say, look, I'm putting this much money, this is my bootstrap max. Before that, I got to go back to work again, like what Giden did in his second sort of stint.
Yeah. So I think maybe I share lah. Okay, yeah. So Giden's side he was I think taking care of the operational side of the business. And for me, because I still have a job back then, right? So I was taking care of the household expenses lah. Put it this way. Yeah.
Household expenses, but you guys weren't together yet? Or married
yes,
already?
we were together already.
We were together, but we're not married.
Not married
yet.
yet. Okay. All together already. Okay. Oh, you missed that portion when you guys got together because you were colleagues suddenly together already.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, there was
skip a few months.
yeah, skip a few things, but we got together.
Okay.
But we try to basically try to put our finances together, really try to be as scrappy as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I honestly cannot remember who put what portion or whatnot.
Yeah.
We don't really.
Okay, roughly how much you think you
But
started?
in totality, we
In
put
totality,
about 30,000 ringgit.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's
Wow.
all.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really very
Wow.
lean. It was
Yeah.
just the two of us at the time. It was just a website,
Okay.
and we I think
Yeah.
we just took some initial capital to buy some initial material.
Yeah. More of like for the tech and website development.
Yeah, some
expenses,
on the
We
website.
work from home, and
I think this is a key point for the viewers out there, right? So stories like this to show that, how early and how little that things can start and where it is today, the whole journey. So, I mean, it's quite interesting to see that, how you guys bootstrap, starting a startup, bootstrapping it with 30,000. And end of the day, you are a success story. I mean, we'll talk about ups and downs later on, but it is where you start. So giving the inspirations to the viewers to say that, you don't need
$3 million.
$3 million.
No, you don't.
Only then I can start my business plan. I can do this, I can do that. Hey, guys out there, people have started business with nothing. So this is basically nothing. And yet make it up there, right? So,
I know, and Giden wasn't taking salary because Penny was not working, right?
Exactly.
So of the 30,000, you didn't take any salary for those 8 months?
No, I didn't take
Wow.
any. None
8
of us,
months,
both of us.
right. And then managing home,
Wow.
managing household expenses. So yeah, I think we'll get to that more often later on, right?
I want to extract more of this because a lot of people say, "Oh, you successfully what?" Right? You were lucky, like you got funded, right? I want people to understand that beyond just getting funded, it's about getting your fundamentals right.
Mm.
So you mentioned, as you learned from E at Stanford, you came back. Those are your core fundamentals. Launch your blind box or subscription-based service at the beginning. Now, in that 8 months that you were bootstrapping and building this, and I assume at the time only Giden was full time, right? When did you finally go to market and say, okay, I've proven my GTM, right? I've got my MVP, all these cool terms, minimum viable product, right? And there's some traction again, and some stickiness. Oh, I'm just throwing
Pitching,
yeah, pitching. When did you say, okay, I'm ready to go and meet my investor, my first investor?
Okay, so when we came back from the Stanford program, it was end of 2014. We inceptualized that idea or just on the drawing board. That was maybe around end of that year, December or so. And we actually went ahead on execution early 2015. So in January 2015, we went to source for materials, shoot the products on the try to do up the website. So a lot of all the preparation work was done in the early first quarter of 2015, and we ultimately launched the website on April 2015. But very interestingly, Penny mentioned go to market. Penny actually also went for another magic program, and pitched that idea of BloomThis at the time.
Oh,
and
okay.
It was actually selected as at the time there was a 1 AES.
Yeah. So we were the top 10 company who got to pitch in the 1 AES.
In which we could present our idea to the market, and we again got some interest in that whole idea. There were some investors that came to us and were interested in the idea. And mind you, at that time we had nothing, zero, just a pitch deck. That's all. No website also, nothing.
no rebranded version of the website because you had a website that Penny didn't.
Yeah.
Right?
We actually, so I'm talking about BloomThis here.
Oh,
the previous 2 tries were not BloomThis. It was just a e-commerce website.
So the third try was the BloomThis.
Yes, the brand BloomThis is actually original. On the third try, we revamped everything, including the brand, including the business model, including the product offering. Everything is all from scratch, new.
So this 1 AES was before or after? Because Penny was talking about you were giving the blind box. Before the blind box.
Before the blind box.
Wow.
The idea was the blind box, but we haven't launched yet. So this was just maybe like we launched in April, right?
Yeah.
So this was maybe March or something
I
like
still
that.
remember that, I was telling the audience that, hey, stay tuned, that we will be launching this in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah. Stay tuned kind of thing. But we had literally nothing yet at the time. No traction, no order, nothing. It's just an idea and a pitch deck. That's it. But we were working already on developing website products and whatnot, shoot and all that. So in April, 9 of April, we remembered
9 April.
What we
See,
did.
remember dates, We
This
don't
is the-
remember dates. We are old fellas.
It's very sentimental,
Again, I feel
right?
old, right?
Yeah,
Nowadays, I'm
yeah,
just
see?
like,
See, whether
dates.
true or not, you just whack the date so you don't know. Okay, sorry, go on. 9 of
Okay, sorry.
April.
The reason why 9th of April is actually when we first started, when we launched the site, we use all our contacts, like from WhatsApp, social media or whatnot. We share with everyone, hey, we launched BloomThis, and we're doing this subscription box thing. Come support us and try it out. And actually, our friends were so supportive, right?
That's
And-
great.
The first person who bought the box on 9th of April, that's why, our birthday is on the 9th of April. It's actually a batch made from the Stanford Go-to-Market program.
right from there.
Okay.
So really, we were super appreciative. Honestly, we couldn't have come this far without the support of so many parties. I must say, yes, you can say greed and whatnot from the entrepreneurs, but also people. We really want to appreciate those that have, in our different phases of this journey. From the first person that bought our subscription box to our customers today, is the support from the people that really push us this far. And so 9th of April was a very significant date because that was the day that we got our first order. And so then we called that day 9th of April our birthday.
Yeah.
Okay, so
until today.
that's BloomThis birthday. I can also see a lot of things actually revolve around Stanford that really had a huge impact in entire thing, right? I mean, you've been talking a lot about that, and I think during this podcast, I think we should tag Stanford. That just came in my brain.
Yeah, we should tag them,
To see that. Anyway, we should tag them. I would like to understand, the intricacies, especially you are actually dealing with perishable goods, and of course, you're talking about emotions and handling special occasions, right? So it's not a business that is, you have a very short shelf life, and to manage that, it requires a lot of thinking, science, and also planning, right? So from your go to market and managing this whole thing and to where you are today, how did you actually? Was there a lot of trial and error? Was there a lot of understanding, and where do you get your knowledge? And did you all because doing flower business is one thing, scaling into what you're doing today, it's really a totally different skill set, right? So how did you manage all that?
So I think the first and most important thing is we always go back to what the customer wants. And you mentioned a few keywords there, right? Perishability, is sensitive and all that. Customers also want it on demand because gifting is for a particular purpose, like for example, birthday, anniversary, a moment, a very special moment in someone's life. When we did the subscription box, our customers actually requested for the on-demand service, as in like, hey, I want it on a particular time and a particular day for a particular purpose. And so we actually go back and rethink again, how do we do our offering, our products, so that it can be suitable for such purpose. So we again listen to the customer and try to tweak ourselves to give the customers what they want. And then one of the things, of course, customers want is freshness, quality of the product, and we're dealing with perishability here. So over a period of time, we had to look into the science and the way on how to manage the flowers, especially, right? Because flowers is still a core product, core ingredient of our product. And so how do we ensure freshness is through the hygiene of how the flowers are being cared, the temperature control, humidity control, and all these different elements that go into prolonging the lifespan of the flowers. Sourcing of the flowers, right? Like we actually source flowers both locally and internationally as well, and the transportation of the flowers. So we actually go into the supply chain as understanding the supply chain as deeply as possible so that we can make improvements there. The other element is really technology, right? Because very labor intensive, it's very time sensitive. So
you can't really automate this, correct? At the end of the day, it's quite difficult to automate something like what you do.
Correct. There's still a human and labor element to it, but it can be assisted with process, automation, technology, digitization. It can be assisted, can be enabled. So we try to cut away those repetitive, very manual process, and let tools like technology replace it and make it simpler for people. So over time, we have iterated this whole process to make it efficient, and we found that we arrive actually at developing our own proprietary technology to actually overcome some of these bottlenecks, so overcome some of these operational challenges.
Okay, so you have basically your own proprietary SOPs
Yeah.
to manage things like perishable. And go ahead.
So the whole transition from, let's say, like a startup team to scale, right? You said you mentioned about how to scale this, right? Is really looking into the 3 Ps that we strongly believe in, right? The people, the process, and also the platform. Yeah.
Okay.
So we basically, from a small team transition to a big team, we look into the organizational development. We look into what kind of process to put in place, and what sort of platform or technology that we need to build or adopt, right, to scale the business.
So we're about to reach our end of the first segment, and we usually like to end the first segment with something a bit memorable for the audience, viewers here, right? So we're going to end this ideally no longer than a sentence for both of you, yeah? Okay?
Okay.
It's not the quick fire that we'll do at the end.
Okay.
So start with you, Giden. Your defining moment as an entrepreneur. One sentence, huh?
Wow. I think it will be when I. Wow, this is challenging.
We caught him.
Okay. Since he slumbered. Penny, let's try you. One sentence, defining moment as entrepreneur.
Defining moment.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's where defining moment. I think when I see I think the first order is actually something, right? It is a meaningful because it's sort of like a validation of all your ideas and your execution.
All right.
Okay.
Back to you, Giden. You still owe us the answer.
Yeah. Actually, I'm trying to, because there's so many moments, right?
Right.
But I feel the most significant moment is when I was actually growing up. I was trying to help my mother, right, to grow and to expand her business. And I was actually inspired by The Apprentice back then. It was the series.
Oh,
And
my favorite American president.
Yeah. Today, but that inspired me to actually step up and actually take on like what my mother was doing and see how much better can it become. So actually during seasons, I would take her flowers and go to like Gurney Drive in Penang and sell flowers to couples and whatnot. So those moments actually I think inspired me to actually push myself to go further, and I built on that until today.
So saying Gurney Drive, so you are a Penang guy then?
Penang guy, yes.
So, Penang Lang, right?
Penang Lang, yes.
Okay, anyway, we'll talk about that later.
That's more than one sentence.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's a bit cheating, right?
we had a fantastic first segment. I mean, brilliant information. I think we'll be back on the second segment, right, Adit?
See you guys after the
Right.
break.
Cheers.
Most important value is customer first. So if we fail or have any mishaps, then it's something that we need to reflect on ourselves as a team. We do these kind of check-ins on a weekly basis until today. The first year we doubled, but I believe the second year we actually grew almost 1,000%.
During the pandemic is also where I realized that what we are doing is really impactful, right? It's really, really impactful. Why? Because during the lockdown period at time, that's where I realized that actually what our product and services actually bring people together despite, the situation of people cannot be together.